Time is ticking on FM22 and the countdown to FM23 has begun. In the meantime, I wanted to start one more last save. And yep, it was with City. There's the formation and tactic there. We'll get back to that later. I'm happy to say we won the Premier League pretty comfortably as well by 11 points. Goals for was 115. We won 29. Randomly we lost 5, but believe me, I do have a reason for that. Look at the games, they are pretty random, Forest and Bournemouth. Here's how it went. You can see we were smashing goals in all over the place. There's 5s there, there's 3s, there's 6s, there's 5s, there's 7s, there's 8s against Sevilla. It was balmy. And like I said, we did lose the odd game, like this game against Leicester, and unbelievably, I don't know why I did this, but if I show you the formation I was playing down the bottom corner there, I changed it for this match, and I still don't know why I did it. For example, this game away to Salzburg, you can see we lost it 2-0, and look at the formation I was playing. Not what I've been using. When I went back to the normal formation in the home leg, it was 7-0, with Haaland scoring 4 times, and there's the formation we should have just used the whole season. So great success in the league, and I know the thumbnail showed you. Let's have a look at Haaland.
But that's how it is.
So there's Erling, and in real life he started like a house on fire, and if he manages to do what he did in this save, he's going to have a decent season. Let me take you down to the stats. 85 goals in 53 games. Unbelievable. 23 goals in the Champions League, 59 in the Premier League, and a couple in the FA Cup, and 1 in the Carabao. He had a nightmare there, didn't he? But an average rating for the season of 8.34. I actually lost count of the amount of hat-tricks he scored this season. All different types of goals. Here's Foden whipping it across and Haaland lashing it in with that left foot of his. This hat-trick against Arsenal. Look at him picking Ben White's pocket there. Driving in, left foot again. Top bins. And his third goal. Patient play. Foden again. He actually passes to Haaland in this save. And a big header from Haaland. So we took the league down with Haaland scoring 59 times. Now let me tell you a story about the Champions League. In the semi-finals we drew Liverpool, and you can see there we lost 2-1 in the first leg. Haaland did score, obviously. Pause it there before I start, but this is the type of game that makes you fall in love with FM. So we are 2-1 down. There is 14 minutes gone, and this is the first period of play. De Bruyne loses it but wins it back. Cancelo as an inverted wing back finds Foden. He pings it in. It's 1-0. And if you're keeping track, that's 2-2 on aggregate. Just a couple of minutes later, Robertson down the left-hand side whips it across. Bit of a scramble, and Thiago with a thunder boomer pings it into the top bin. That's 1-1 and 3-2 on aggregate. Then in injury time, in the first half, Luis Diaz breaks through, puts it away, and that's 2-1 Liverpool, 4-2 on aggregate. Second half starts, and it didn't go to plan. Diaz through to Mo Salah, stupid crazy angle. He puts it in. 3-1 on the night. 5-2 on aggregate. But the very next attack, Haaland breaking through, lays it back to Silva, and De Bruyne puts it in. Get in. 3-2 on the night, 5-3 on aggregate. Bit of momentum for the boys then. Foden and then De Bruyne with a crazy scissor kick. That made it 3-3 on the night, 5-4 on aggregate. Hopes were then high, but then Salah threw again, and then João Cancelo took him out. He'd already been booked. It led to a penalty after VAR, and inevitably a red.
Flabbergasted.
So at this stage it's 5-4 on aggregate, a goal here and we're dead. Salah steps up, Ederson saves. So it's 5-4 to Liverpool on aggregate. We're down to 10 men, but then 74 minutes, KDB. Who else would you want on this? He steps up. Oh my days. It's 5-5 on aggregate now. The 10 men are doing me so proud. At 82nd minute, I'm going nuts at my desk at this point. Haaland breaks down the right, he lays it across, and Phil Foden puts it in. 5-3 on the night, 6-5 on aggregate. And that was enough to put us through. That was one of the best matches I've ever had on FM, and it's right at the end of this FM cycle. Now stay tuned for the end of the video when I'll show you how we got on in the final, but now on to the tactic. Now this is based on the way that City play when Alvarez either starts or he comes on. They tend to go with 2 up front, and then that allows Haaland to become the poacher that we all know and love. Alvarez, I've got him as a trequartista because it means he can move around. He hasn't got a lot of defensive responsibility, but he can move around. I toyed with a false 9, but I much prefer him as a trequartista. Now, like Pep does in the defence, he's got 2 inverted wing backs. He's got Walker and he's got Cancelo. Now Walker's slightly more withdrawn, so he's on support, whereas Cancelo, more attack minded, like you've seen some of the through balls he's done this season. He gets further up. We've Got a solid 2 in Stones and Diaz. We've got Edison, obviously as an attack because he can play those balls however he wants, like an outfield player. I'm using Rodri, holding his position, winning the ball back, and then literally laying it off to Cancelo or Foden or De Bruyne to do the damage. De Bruyne, like you saw in that Liverpool game, licensed to get forward, and in fact, I'll get onto the play instructions later on, but there's a sneak preview for you. You can see all of them I've got on him, basically making him into a really aggressive Mazzala. We have Silva working from the right hand side. I've got to stay wider on him so he really hugs the touchline, just like Phil Foden. As a winger, might surprise you, but I have added in roam from position so he does tend to move around. And the chances they got to Haaland and Alvarez, well, it's self-explanatory by this screen. Haaland, 85 goals. Team instructions down the side there. In fact, let's go through those now as well. So City play wide, hugging the touchline. You can see the 2 wide lads. I've got the underlap on the right, so that helps De Bruyne get involved a little bit more. Playing out of defence, short of the passing, and obviously they'll work that ball into the box. I've gone for whip crosses because Haaland's lethal when he gets a half a yard. Dead simple in transition, counter press and counter. And out of possession, City are super aggressive with that much higher line, using the offside trap, really pressing the team. So there is a gap in behind them, but if you're dominating the ball, you should be fine. So this is why I say this tactic. I'd use it for City. Would I use it for anyone else? I'm not so sure. So there's the tactic. I'll get onto the play instructions later on in the video, but for now, let's show you the Champions League match. And it all boiled down to one key matchup. Yeah, we met PSG in the final, which meant Haaland versus Mbappe. So City v PSG, couldn't ask for a better final. Mbappe comes into the match with like 35 goals. Haaland comes in with 942. It's going to be a gun shootout between those two. Start of the match, 7 minutes in. Hakimi picks it up here. Big tackle from Ruben Diaz, but it breaks to Leo Messi, who skins a few, comes off Edison, and Mbappe puts them in the lead. So Mbappe's off the mark first, but City reply. Alvarez with a through ball, and look at Big Erling. Outpaces his man. Trademark finish. It's 1-1, and both the big guns have scored. Into the second half, Mbappe cutting inside like he loves to. He left Ruben Diaz for dust. Cavani stopped that. They must have signed Cavani. Comes off Edison, and it breaks to Mbappe, and Mbappe puts it in. It's 2-1 PSG. He scored them both. 1 minute later, De Bruyne to Alvarez. Back to De Bruyne. They're getting each other's way, but he finds the pass to Haaland, who lashes it home. It's 2-2, and both big guns have scored twice. Unreal. And then 82 minutes, Foden to Rodrigo. Back to Sergio Gomez, and Rodri finds the cross, and Big Erling with a header. That's the type of goal that Mbappe is probably not capable of. He puts it in. We win the Champions League 3-2. Haaland with a hat-trick, Mbappe with 2. You couldn't write that. Loved it. So that's how the season finished for us. We won the Premier League at a canter. We won the Champions League. We got knocked out of the FA Cup, so high five West Ham. And United knocked us out of the Carabao Cup. We did win the Community Shield as well, for what it's worth. But a double of the Champions League and the Premier League with Erling going nuts. Great season. And if you want to give this tactic a go, like I say, I haven't tested it. I only built it purely for City to see what I could get out of Haaland. So here comes the play instructions. Enjoy.